Made with Love by Integro.
So today we have with us Kavita, who likes to call herself Veda's mom. She is the mom, educator, therapist, play companion of adorable child Veda, who incidentally also has Down syndrome. We know that 1 out of 700 births in the world are children who are born with Down syndrome. So, Kavita, let me start by asking you this. What exactly is Down syndrome? I know there's a scientific explanation to it, but how would you explain it to a layman?
Okay, hi everyone. So first of all, I would like to tell what Down syndrome is not, because that's important.
Okay.
Down syndrome is not a disease. It's not contagious, and it's not an issue or a problem. So in very simple words, Down syndrome is a genetic condition which happens because of one extra copy of chromosome. We know that our body has cells, and cells have chromosomes, right? So these chromosomes keeps our genetic information, like what kind of hair we will have, the skin color, eye shapes, or the shape of our lips, everything which is related to our genetics stored in chromosomes, which we get 23 from our mother and 23 from our father, right? So there are 23 pair of chromosomes, total 46 chromosomes. So our kids with Down syndrome get extra copy of chromosome. That's why they are, I think, I believe, extra cute and adorable. And they have 47 chromosomes. And one extra copy they get in 21st chromosome.
Okay.
So that's why it's called trisomy 21. The 21st chromosome has one extra copy, total 3 chromosomes. And that's why World Down Syndrome Day is also celebrated on 3rd of March. Yeah, 21st, 21, and then 3.
And then,
yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that fact. That's amazing. So there's a lot of stigma. People are uncomfortable talking about Down syndrome. I know it has changed. There is a lot more awareness that is coming out, things like International World Down Syndrome Day, but traditionally, culturally, people have hesitated to talk about it. Do you agree that there is stigma around it? Have you kind of faced anything yourself? And what do you feel is the cause behind that?
First of all, I would say awareness is there, no doubt. But, real life is very different from real life. Kids still get judged a lot for their appearances, for their speech, and for having a diagnosis. A family still feels shame. So I don't think there is much change. And the reason behind that is because we have associated worth of people with the diagnosis. I think there is this notion like kids with disabilities or people with disabilities, when they are born, they are already considered less worthy, less human, less deserving. And that's the main thing. Nobody celebrates a child. And that, I think that stigma goes, for a very long time. We consider that only a person living in a non-disabled body is worthy, which is so wrong. My child is as worthy as another child. My child brings the same joy, same love and peace to me as you get from your child.
Let's say that your child has just been diagnosed. Not everybody immediately is able to accept or celebrate, the child or the situation in that moment. And,
absolutely.
So, and there is some level of change of perception that needs to happen. For the parents, for the family, for that immediate unit that the child is surrounded in. What would you say to somebody who is finding out that might have done?
I would first congratulate them for having a baby. And second, I always tell people that take your time. It's okay to, it's okay to cry about the ideal, you had in your mind. Like for 9 months, you thought you will have a baby and you are going to you are going to love that baby, or so you are going to enjoy that childhood and everything. So it's not gone. That baby is gone in your mind, right? So it's okay to cry about it. Take your time, grieve as much as you can, but soon, please get back to being a mom and understand that nothing has gone. You haven't lose any. Nothing is gone. You haven't lost anything. The child is there. The child will love you same. The child is going to have some delays, right? I understand there will be some medical issues, but only the definition of having a perfect child is gone. And find your community, find your people, because the people around you are not going to understand the kind of life you have to lead now. They are not going to understand, because a parent next to you who doesn't know that what therapy means, what occupational therapy means, they are not going to support you. You have to find your community. There is nothing like perfect, by the way, and go for it. Find your village, find a community, find friends who have kids with Down syndrome or the diagnosis your child have, and let's start working on it. Yes, it's okay. You don't have to feel happy or positive about it. Like, okay, I'll be positive. It's okay. Never say a parent who has got the diagnosis that it's okay, it's going to be perfect. No, it's not okay. It's totally not okay. We understand. So, yeah.
Now, when you talk about finding a community, right?
Yeah.
And finding your village,
yes,
there is a certain amount of support, that parents need. I mean, every parent does, to be honest.
Yes.
We all need a village. There is a famous, African saying that it takes a village to raise a child. And that's true of, a parent of a child with Down syndrome. So, in this situation, what kind of support do you look for from your friends and family? So assuming that, I have a friend whose child has Down syndrome, how can I make myself of use? How can I reach out? How can I help? What is it that I can do to be part of that support?
Okay, how sweet. I mean, you're the first person who has asked this about a friend, because actually, as parents, we are lacking mental. Physical is a different thing. Like, I can help with groceries or cooking or something. Can I make something for you? But if your friend recently has a child with some diagnosis or Down syndrome, at least be there. Physical help, like if you need something, do you want me to do anything, like cooking something for you? Do you want to eat something? Simple things. Mental support, I believe, what women don't get, parents really don't get. Like, no one even asks, like, what is the diagnosis? A simple word is diagnosis. We have been asked, okay, then problem kya hai? Is bachche ko problem kya hai? What's the issue with the child? It's not a problem. If you really want to be a friend, ask the question, what's the diagnosis? What can I learn about this diagnosis? Because if you know the diagnosis, you are going to learn about the child as well. And the second thing, what can I do more, to learn about the condition, right? The first and foremost thing every mom wants that for the child is people should know the diagnosis of my child. So many times people are like, why is she wearing glasses? Isko kya diagnosis hai? Like, isko kya problem hai? And they think CP, Down syndrome, they all are same, which is, like, okay, my friend also have a child like this. What is like this? Tell me the diagnosis. So I think get aware of diagnosis first. Second, I think stop calling us strong. We don't want to be strong, Oh, you are so strong because that special kids are given to special parents. So that's really weird to hear, We want to be treated as we were before our kids. Our journey has been changed, but our personality hasn't. It's not like we have become more strong because we have given birth to a child with Down syndrome, or we are now very strong mentally. And just be there for your friend. Don't call her strong for no reason, like you are strong, or okay, don't worry, these kids are given to parents like you. Nobody wants to hear that. I had friends who know the diagnosis of my child, I will literally salute them. Oh my God, you know it. Because I haven't heard anyone saying, I learned about Down syndrome. Or I had no idea Veda has Down syndrome. I had no idea she has 47 chromosomes. So these are the words I really want to hear.
How can I initiate a friendship between my child and Veda?
So the thing is, I haven't come across any child who has issues with Veda. Kids are very pure. They are pure, right? So first thing that, second, I homeschool Veda, so she goes out a lot, and the kids do play with her. She's a very happy child, outgoing child. But still, I would tell parents that choose. If someone is not right for your child, it's okay. Sometimes some kids or some parents are not right for your child, and it's okay, right? But those who are right for them, you can easily recognize them. They are willing to learn about your child. They are not going to tell their child like, okay, something is not right with her. Like Veda has two beautiful friends because they have some amazing parents, such amazing parents who are ready to tell their kids, not intentionally, to be, to have empathy or kindness. They are telling, like, treat Veda as a human, she wears glasses, so be gentle with her glasses. She wears ortho shoes, so she can't go to some places with you because she has to remove those shoes. So they are not making it a fuss that, be slow because she is slow or something. So using appropriate language and teaching your kids that other child is also human, just like you, bringing out the similarities and the strength, but also sure to answer the differences. It's not like ignoring differences. Like if the child is asking, why is she wearing glasses? It's like, oh, no, shush, no, don't say that. They tell that she needs help with glasses to see. She needs glasses to help her see. So I think it all depends on parents. So I'm thankful, like she has few friends who, because of the parents, they are very nice to her, and they are actually, she can be herself in front of them. The best part, she doesn't have to change, and that's what I tell people. Your kids don't have to change to make friends. It's better not to have friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. So many parents who say, but we don't have anybody like that in my life, so why do I need to talk to my child about it?
I understand. See, it's not like someday you have to like, okay, today I'm going to talk about Down syndrome. But you should involve lot of books and lot of informations about disability and diversity. And if the topic comes, you should talk about Down syndrome. I never met anyone with Down syndrome. But then one day when I heard about Down syndrome, I'm like, I want to have a child with Down syndrome. I wish I had any idea about disabilities when I was a child. But we come from a generation where parents never used to talk about disabilities, right? So saying like, what if my child never meets someone with Down syndrome? But what if your child has met and the child doesn't even know that child had Down syndrome? What if your child has already met a child with Down syndrome or a person with Down syndrome, but your child is so unaware because he or she doesn't know that what the diagnosis was. So I think one should give the opportunity to make your child evolve. But it shouldn't be like, I'm going to specific talk about this disability or that disability. But talking about differences and disability should be normal thing or a regular thing, you know. So I think that's a good way to introduce.
And I think that the idea being that, again, like you said, it's not about, say, let's talk about Down syndrome today, but let's talk about all the different, children on the planet, the way we look, the things that we do. Some learn faster,
Races,
a little bit
yeah.
races, and when we talk about the diversity that is there in
Yes.
our world today, right? And
Yes.
I think the inclusion part is to talk about all the different types of people, all the different, things we come across on a daily basis, whether in books
True.
or in media, and taking the time out to actually have that conversation and say, this is what it means, So even if
True.
you come across it in media, for example, and you don't see it, you don't know somebody personally, but take that time out to just have that conversation. Oh, look, that character on television has Down syndrome. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
To kind of just take that time, like you said, to explain and to talk about
Exactly.
it. So that it
Exactly.
was somewhere at the back of their heads.
Exactly. Yes.
And
Sorry. Because it's not going to make them like, okay, learn or something, but it will make your child a bit more empathetic and kind, a bit more aware. Okay, so next time they will be much more aware of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And tomorrow when they're an adult or they're a teenager, and they're going out into the world and they meet someone, like you said, the first thing you said was that I wish somebody would ask me what my child's diagnosis is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now,
Exactly.
If I have some level of awareness, if I have some level of empathy and kindness, and I've been taught by my parents, then I can go out into the world and I can ask somebody, I will know what to say. I will
Yes.
know how to connect with somebody. And
True.
that's what we're trying to build over here.
Exactly.
Now, in childhood, we only focus on, okay, let me feed them, let me clothe them, let me bathe them, and all the rest of the stuff they'll figure out once they're adults,
True.
So when, things like this, when we're talking about, how our parents didn't talk to us about disabilities, or our parents, the previous generation, there wasn't enough conversation around social emotional development as such, right? And all of these topics we would like to discuss with our children to make them more kind, to make them more empathetic.
Yes.
There some people do feel that, but my child is too young for all this.
Yes.
It's early to have this conversation.
Yes.
What is your feedback, or what is your perspective on that? Do you feel that there is something as too young to have a conversation about a child having Down syndrome?
No. There is age appropriateness, I truly believe. But I think the younger the child, because, okay, just one example, just make Veda at the age of 2 and some other child at the age of 2, make them sit. They are not going to see differences or disability, right? They are just going to see the toys and how we are gelling together. Kids
Visit us at integralkids.com for more.
don't see these things. That's why instead of making them learn, providing that environment where, inclusive environment, integrated, not even like separated, but integrated and inclusive environment where kids with every disability and kids without disability can learn together. Because then it's a norm, how you normalize things by doing it, right? So how many books are you going to read? But if a child is not going to watch inclusive setup or a kid with disability, he or she is never going to learn. So the first step is to make them just be okay with your child going to school or a preschool or a play school with a child with disability, right? So notice those kids don't even care because kids don't have that mind. We have.
Yeah.
We have disability. That child has in a kid's mind when we teach them. Kids don't have any idea about it. So I think young minds are much more pure and they soak things very differently. They learn things differently, and it's the good time, but it should be age appropriate. I'm not going to tell a baby if someone is asking why Veda can't talk, and I will say, oh, because she has Down syndrome, DNA genes. The baby will be like, what are you saying? There should be an age appropriate language. Okay, I know she wears glasses, and she can do so many things like you, but she needs help with her vision, like you can see clearly, and but Veda needs help in that. Simple, like you need help in eating, like, but she can eat on her own, a simple thing. So it's easy to tell them. I think kids are very cute when they question, and as they grow toddler and then teens, then your answer can change. But saying like, okay, let's wait for adulthood or teen times, and then we are going to tell about disability. Then your child has his or her own perception about disability. Then you can't change it. A perception he or she is watching in school that excludes, the exclusion and the treatment with disabilities, and telling that, oh, only non-disabled people are worthy. So he or she is going to have his own perception. And if we want to start making, changing narratives, we have to start at young age. So instead of telling babies, just provide books of different races, different bodies, different disabilities. We can do that. We don't have to talk to babies or toddlers about disability. We can just put books, and if they have any queries, then we can talk about it.
And you talked about preschool environments, and you talked about, this idea of, even when kids are in an environment where, you have children, with disabilities or children without disabilities kind of interacting together, how there is a very natural connect that happens when the environment is supported in that scenario. Is there anything that a parent or educator can do in those environments to help facilitate better connections between kids, to kind of, again, have conversations, to kind of ensure that, that the children are more empathetic? Especially, I know that when they're, like I said, really small, it really depends on what they see and things like that. But as they get older, the differences in terms of what they're able to do and versus what they're not able to do, and how do we handle, maybe instances of bullying or things like that may crop up from time to time. What can a parent or an educator do in those scenarios?
So first of all, parents and educators also think that, creating awareness about disability is just not the responsibility of parents having kids with disability, So it's a lot for us already. So they should also know, first of all, parents and educators also know that they should be a believer of inclusion. First of all, they shouldn't be like, if the person from inside believes this child doesn't belong here, then forget about inclusion or having empathy. But parents can teach their kids or talk to their kids about being an ally to kids with disabilities. Because in this world, we have to live together. It's not that responsibility of child with a disability, my child, to learn about, different things. Like if a child can't speak, right? So he or she is going to use speech or sign language, right? Speech therapy, sign language. But if other child doesn't know sign language, to whom is he going to talk, right? So this is what I'm saying. Every parent should work toward inclusion. It's not for my kid, it's for everyone's kid. So educator also work for inclusion as well. And they should model. You don't have to tell child how to behave with other child. You have to model it.
Yeah.
If you are being kind to my child who is slow in walking, and who can't talk properly but can sign. And if the teacher or educator also know how to sign, so you're modeling that she is welcome here, she belongs here, right? So automatically it's going to give the impression to other kids like this is okay. She is not less here. She is not non-worthy here. She is just like us. She learns differently. She speaks differently. And maybe next time they are going to learn the sign language, or they will say like what we can do or how we can help her, So I think that matters, how you are modeling your behavior around the kids. If you are going to shout on small things as an educator, or you are going to make that child feel incapable, automatically the other kids are going to learn that, So that we can do, modeling the behavior. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that this idea, at the beginning you mentioned, inclusion and what that means, right? It's not just about, a seat at the table. It's how,
Yes.
it's how you treat the person who's sitting at the table with you.
Exactly. That's why I tell parents, like our kids with Down syndrome mostly don't get admissions because school says we are not fully equipped, and parents feel really bad. I homeschool my child, and it's a privilege, right? But I tell them, see, there are two scenarios. It's really bad that they are not getting the seat, but then I feel, what if they get admission but not treated good at the school which is not fully equipped? They just want their child to get into the school, but that's not enough. Getting respect, inclusion is nothing but respect for being who you are and feeling included, right? And if you're not getting that, even if you get admission in any school, it doesn't matter if you are not treated with respect and you are treated less. So that matters a lot to me. I tell parents, like, that's the only thing I feel which is not discussed much in our community yet. They feel like going to school is inclusion. No. Getting respect out of school, in playground, everywhere, it's important. That's inclusion. Inclusion at home, inclusion in libraries, inclusion everywhere,
Yeah. I think that pretty much sums up, for us, what we mean at Indigrow as well about inclusion. It's about, everybody's right to be treated, like you said, with respect.
Yes.
And I want to thank you so much, Kavita, for having been part of this conversation with us, for giving us a little insight into how we can be part of a better community, and to provide the kind of supported inclusion that I think our world needs, each one of our children needs. And so thank you so much. And
you're welcome. Thank you for thinking about me when you wanted to do the talk. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Visit us at integralkids.com for more.